All right, all right, all right. I think we're live. I think the microphone's working. Let me just check. All right, check, check. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check, check, check. All right, and we are live, and our mic's working for once. So thank the Lord. But anyways, good evening. Let me bring you into the dual box. Been a while since we've done one of these live weather discussions, hasn't it? But hope you've been doing well. Hope you've been staying cool this summer because goodness gracious, has it been a scorcher of a summer? And I'll talk more about that when we get to the forecast this week. But we gotta talk about what's gonna be coming up here with Debby here. So first things first, let me take you to the second screen and let me kind of reset everything for you real quick. So give me a second to do that. I'm gonna go into our reflectivity on our next rad, and we're gonna do that. Get into that. Our alerts are gonna be on, and we're gonna turn on our fronts. All right, so let's currently talk about our state of affairs here. Got some showers and storms basically all day along this frontal boundary that's been sitting across central Maryland. Essentially, I want to say along the 66 US 50 corridor, and then back along the Potomac River up to Winchester. So 6681 corridor, sorta, and then kind of dividing into Caroline County, into Kent County, Delaware, and then back into Montgomery County, and then into Northern Virginia here, Loudoun County, into Frederick County as well. And I believe that would be Clark County, if I'm not mistaken, Berryville. Don't don't get me wrong. I had to catch up on my Virginia County terminology here, but anyways, that's besides the point. We have this frontal boundary setting up, and it's been raining all day in a good chunk of areas along this frontal boundary. You can see some of it starting to fade out, especially south of the boundary here, south of the capital city. Pretty mean storm here. Might be over Tracy's Landing. Let me pull up that cam real quick because I do have access to these. Soma, we'll do the Tracy's Landing deal camera, and I will put that into picture in picture, and you can see the rain here this evening. There. So yes, pretty good rain falling in that area. Tracy's Landing deal right now. I'll zoom in a little bit more tight for you. But there's deal. Tracy's Landing. That area is getting some pretty good rain as of the moment. So I will turn this camera down, and I will quickly give you the rundown of everything else that's going on. We do have a flash flood warning that's in place right now for southern Frederick County. This will include Monrovia, New Market, Ballinger Creek, Urbana. That will go until, what would that be? That'll be 10:15 tonight. 10:15 tonight. This goes until, because of some heavy rains. Expected rainfall of 1.5 to 2.5 inches in the next hour. That was issued a while ago, so that might have already happened. So creeks, streams, low-lying areas here: Monrovia, New Market, Lingamore, Bartonsville, getting to the southeast side of Frederick here, right by the airport, Urbana. Pardon me. Those are going to be some problematic areas that you need to watch out for flooding. Also, I have a feeling the National Weather Service at this clip may have to put out a new warning here, basically in this corridor of northeastern Frederick, but especially here, central Carroll County and getting into northwestern Baltimore County. This stretch has been seeing rain here for a while, and that will continue at this clip. No thunder or lightning to really note of with these storms. I do have that lightning tracker on. But then heading back south, you have a heavy storm or a heavy shower here, a little pop-up heavy shower that's just east of the Forest Park Golf Course here, over near the Dorchester and Howard Park communities here. This is going to be Liberty Road out here in West Baltimore, right by Liberty Square, just south and west, I should say, of Greenspring. Where would that be heading? Based on the northwestern component, I would say Lockern may be next up, the Falstaff area, Pikesville. So those areas here in the Northwest Metro, near and inside the Beltway, you might get rained on a little bit here over the next 30 to 45 minutes. So that's the main rundown of everything that's been going on. Some more storms in Northern Virginia. We have some along the Potomac River here in Montgomery County, and then more down into Calvert County. And then if I take the Dover radar here as we get the live sweep from Sterling, there's some lighter activity here in northern portions of Somerset County, southwestern Wycomico County. Nothing really to note, but it's just there. And into Caroline County, some rain there. These heavy showers and rumble, thunder, storms, I guess you can call it, are relatively low base. So they're not going to be very strong in particular. They're not going to have the lifting mechanics to really get strong, and the environment's not really favorable for that. So it's just going to be heavy showers moving on through, if you get my point. Let's check out satellite. We'll do the CONUS. We'll just do CONUS here. Get back to the mix of things. Let's do water vapor. Mid-level water vapor or infrared. Let's try infrared. All right, so let's talk here with the infrared satellite because we're kind of getting into the evening hours here. It's going to be hard to see with visible satellite, so it might look a little weird. But here is the remnants of Debby. And I will put, or at least Tropical Storm Debby. It's going to soon be remnants here within the next 24 to 48 hours as it moves over land. But let me just show you the cone track, the past track and intensity here. You can see this was a Cat 1. This quickly developed around Cuba and then into the Gulf and then slammed Florida, the Big Bend, as a Cat 1. And look at the projected track. The current wind field, we only got some tropical storm force winds, upper end, but the upper end stuff is mainly in seed. Like the lower end tropical storm force winds, they're going to be along the coastline here. They're going to be reaching further out per se. But that's the main deal. This is where it is right now as of the 8 o'clock update that just came in. It has 60 mile per hour winds, max gust of 70, and it's going to be moving northward here. So that's the main deal. And we got thunderstorm warnings here, or I should say a tornado warning over towards the Wilmington area. These storms, tornadic storms can happen within these tropical systems. So that is another thing to note with this. The reason why Debby has stayed south for the most part today is because we have an upper level area of high pressure that is centered over Quebec. That has, in a result, pushed our stationary front, which was more like over here yesterday, down here. So it pushed that stationary front down, this high pressure. However, we're gonna get a trough basically a change of direction of wind in the jet stream, a digging down of the trough of the jet stream here in the Great Lakes. Well, this will do because of the eastern end of the trough typically having that northward component, or should I say always having that northward component. It will pull Debby up and it will bring it alongside. And there is one benefit of this: it will get it out of our hair a little faster than a lot of us, including myself, anticipated earlier this week. So that is one benefit. However, with that said, that is another dynamic in our forecast that we need to note, is that as much as this will get it out of our hair, it will bring it up in the first place to bring us some pretty good soaking rains as well. So that will be very much our problem. Let's check out our forecast here in terms of what to expect in terms of timing. So let me just, first things first, we'll take off our layers, and I'll take off the front, and I'll take off the alert so we have a clean slate, okay? And then we will go to our models. And I'm going to start with the, actually, we're not going to go HRRR. That data might be a little bit more on the older side at this point. I'm going to go with GFS. GFS will show us what's going to be happening. So give that a second to load. I need that sip of water. So I'll zoom out for you. And we're going to give you the rundown. So here we are. This is overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, Thursday morning. Watch as this moves northward because of that jet stream. And I'm actually, should I? Let me see if I can. Just give you a better idea. Mean sea level. Let's try our 500 milli wind. And our mean. Actually, mean might be a little bit too much. Try our 500 millibar winds here. I don't know if that's going to be too visible. That's the big problem with this. But I'm going to zoom out. And this will load the data, so give it a second. Technology. But you'll see, if we can even depict this a little bit here, that we will have a trough digging down. I may have to show a different map for this. But there's going to be a trough digging down that's going to help lift Debby northward, or at least the remnants of Debby northward. And that will result in some pretty heavy rainfall potentially here for our western communities especially. But the metro, I don't want to say we're quite out of this either, because we will get some pretty good soaking rains out of this as well. And this is heading into Friday. So here is Thursday evening into Friday morning, Friday afternoon. We will have some pretty good rains. However, because of that upper level jet, we will probably try to get this out of our hair, at least west of the Chesapeake, by midnight tomorrow night. It may be earlier than that, but I'm going to be conservative and say midnight. It may be towards 9, 10 o'clock, but I don't want to say that for sure. I just say by midnight, a good chunk of us are done. East of the Chesapeake, I was thinking earlier in the week this may try to linger around and stay through the through the morning hours, maybe some rush hour stuff. If you have to go take care, not rush hour, Saturday's not even rush hour. Most people don't work. But if you have to go anywhere, let's say mid to late Saturday morning, potentially on the eastern shore in the Delmarva, there could have been issues. But a lot of this is getting out of our hair here by about 6, 7 o'clock, according to the GFS model, which is more than welcome news. So let's hope that keeps that track. Let me just show you here within a better perspective. And I'm going to do... Let's do this. Hang tight. And this might give us a better view. Okay. All right, so update the plot. We'll do 18Z. All right, where are you? All right. So I think this is showing up. Yes, it is. Let me just zoom in a little bit tighter for you, and I can talk about what exactly is going to happen. So watch the jet stream here. There's going to be a trough right now, and that is going to be, what would that be? 6Z Friday. So that's going to be 1 a.m. Friday morning when Debby starts to pull up towards us. Notice how 570, 576 millibars, 582 millibars here in terms of the pressure at 500 millibars up, or actually that might be inches here. It's trying to pull up 500. So this is at 500 millibars here. Notice that 570, 576, 582. They're dipping down. It has this dip down feature. So you see the jet stream. It's hooking north across the Rockies and the Pacific Northwest. And then once it starts getting to the northern and central plains and into the Great Lakes, it dips down. That's that trough from the jet stream. What that trough is going to do is pull Debby towards us. It's going to have, it's going to overpower that stationary boundary that's been sitting over us all day. And watch out, it just travels northeast, right along that trough. Bam. Right on up through and right on up out of here, which will be detrimental but also beneficial, as I mentioned. Detrimental in the fact that we will get Debby's remnants, but it will be beneficial in the fact that we may not have to deal with it for so long as compared to, let's say, the coastal Carolinas and southeastern Georgia, because they've been getting hammered with this, and the remnants, it's been nasty. It's been nasty down there. But anyways, that's a look at that. And then more locally, here's the view of what's going to happen. And I got to update this again because we're just getting new model data in. But you can see as this loads, we will have that system. And this is a little bit of a closer look at what to expect. Come on. There we go. But you can see there it is pulling up towards our area. And we could get some pretty heavy rains out in our western counties. I do want to keep that in mind. And I want you to keep that in mind as well out in our western counties. Frederick, Washington, Allegheny, Garrett. You haven't gotten a whole lot of rain in the past month. A lot of y'all are under the extreme drought in the drought index for several weeks at this point. You're going to get some much needed rainfall. Here's where my concern comes in, however. And yes, Debby's tracking more inland, which will favor our western zones. My main concern is this. The ground, and I'm going to take you in for the double here because I want to have a rather serious conversation with you about this because this could be substantial. The ground, because of the lack of rainfall, has been more compact. Or I should say it probably is more compact because we haven't had much rainfall in the last month. In fact, let me pull up Hagerstown's climate summary here for today and just show you how much or how little rain I should say we've had for the month. And I will take you back full and we will talk about this real quickly. By the way, it was 82.69 at Hagerstown today. We've picked up 0.05 of an inch. We've picked up 1 inch of rain so far for the month. We're a third above where we should be. It's way more at Thurgood Marshall, by the way. Yes, we have cut into our deficit a good deal. We're really close to where we should be for an average summer, but it's been problematic at times. It has been super problematic. I mean, it's been weird at times this year. I mean, we've catched up in the rain department, but as recently as let's say Monday, we were running an inch and a half below where we should be for the summer at Hagerstown Regional. And we have closed in on our total rainfall for the year. Pardon me. My concern is this. And I'm going to bring you back to dual box. The ground may not fully be able to saturate the water until more recently because of the lack of rainfall. When you have a long stretch without much rain, the ground is going to be more compact and dry. And it might be more extreme cases out west because I'll show you the drought monitor. Bam. We're in an extreme drought in portions of Washington, all of Allegheny, and portions of Garrett counties here. My concern is this. Whatever rainfall occurs, and it could be rather substantial. I'll show you this right now. And I'll go more local here with this. I mean, we're looking at anywhere around, let's say, 1.5 inches to maybe 2 3/4 of an inch of rain, according to the GFS model. Now, the 2 3/4 is an extreme. I want to mention that. However, I do have concern about that because if the ground is not able to saturate as much water as it should because of the lack of rainfall that we've been seeing as of recently, especially in far western Maryland, we could have problems with flooding. And it could be rather substantial. I mean, we've already had flash flood warnings in place for Frederick County. Now, they may be better off in Frederick and Hagerstown because they've gotten some more rain. But in some of these locations that haven't gotten a whole lot of rain, that could be an issue. I want to emphasize that. So flooding could be a problem with this if not taken seriously. So I really want to harp on that. Although I will say this, I think our drought monitor is going to be looking better once we get this update in tomorrow. How better will it look? We will have to wait and see, because it probably won't factor in the rain that we get. We may not factor in the rain that we get today with this. Although I will say this, the data is valid the day or two before, so that may help. But I think how better this monitor will look is gonna be TBD. But it should look better, and it should be better next week. Although I will say this, I don't know about that, because after this stretch, look at this. No rain. This is Sunday, Monday. We may get an upper level system by midweek that may bring some rain showers. Besides that, though, we're looking at a dry stretch of weather, relatively speaking, until we get to the latter half of the week, maybe into next weekend. So I want you to keep that in mind as well, that as much progress as we are making in the rainfall department, and I'll pull up BWI's rainfall stats real quickly, we may get back to square one here if we are not careful. So let's talk about BWI. Oh goodness, we have already picked up 3 1/3 in terms of rainfall at the airport for the month. We should be at an inch, just about. So we're 2 1/3 over where we should be, and we'll be likely running a little bit higher. We are closing in on our average. We have been struggling throughout much of the summer after a strong winter and early spring. So that is good in that regard, but then we have to start talking flooding if this rainfall does continue. So yes, we would like the rainfall, but we would also like to get it out of here in a timely fashion so we don't have to really worry about flooding. But again, that could be something to note. And then the early week is going to look really nice. Yes, it will be kind of warm, upper 80s, but it will be less humid as well, which really will help our cause. So there was that. I wonder if there's any flood alerts that are already in place. So let's check on that real quick. Flood watches, flood advisories, coastal flood watches in place. And I got to turn on the alerts. Okay, so we do have flood watches in place for our western counties simply because of the concerning that we are going to have. All right. And excessive rainfall. This is going to be Thursday evening through Friday evening because of the remnants of Debby. So the Weather Service is already proactive in saying, hey, look, Debby's going to be rolling through. The track is going to lead the most favorable rainfall to western Maryland, the eastern West Virginia region, the West Virginia Panhandle, northern Virginia, and up into PA. That's going to be the main bullseye. Flooding is also really possible in these locations due to that excessive rainfall, which is why we are concerned and why we issue that flood watch that is in place for Washington, Allegheny, and Garrett counties. So good on them to be proactive in this situation. Better safe than sorry. But that's the main rundown of what to expect and kind of a forecast preview for the upcoming forecast I'm doing tomorrow. So that's a little bit of what to expect. So we have Debby. That will be in the time before I make that forecast. And then the weekend, Saturday looks okay. Once we get Debby on up out of here, we may have some clouds lingering to start, but should be okay. Sunday will be probably the guaranteed bet of the 2 weekend days to be really, really nice. And then a nice early week, low humidity, should be really, really good if you have any outdoor plans. As we get towards the latter half of the summer, school's around the corner. Back to school's just around the corner as well. Can't believe I'm saying that, but there's your main rundown of everything. And then upper level system may move through midweek, but even then, that's kind of a toss up. And this far out, don't want to say too much about it. So there is that. Let me check chat real quick. I doubt I have anything, but it's worth a try. Nothing. Nothing. But yeah, that's all I have for right now in terms of the discussion, the update, and kind of a prelude to what you can expect in the Friday upload. With that said, I hope you have a great evening. Have a great weekend ahead. We will talk on Friday about this crazy weather that we have been seeing. We will talk about the heat by the numbers. We will talk about the rainfall potentially by the numbers if we do have enough data in for that. And then we'll just talk the main rundown of what to expect in the next 7 days, 7 to 10 days ahead. So with that said, I'm Jay Mitchell from 4NOWX. Take care, be safe, enjoy your evening.